Hello, fanboys and girls, and welcome to the Fanboy Fight Club podcast, brought to you by Media Junkies. Every Tuesday, we grace your ears with either a new or classic episode for your listening enjoyment. You can find all the previous episodes of the show in our archives. Now, Fanboy Fight Club is our flagship podcast, but if you love the sound of our voices, just search Media Junkie in your favorite podcast app like Spotify, Stitcher, Apple, Google, CastBox, just to name a few. Here you'll find podcasts such as the Rogue Agents Division 2 podcast, the Gimmick Minute Wrestling podcast, Why Are You a Gamer, along with Fanboy Fight Club, and possibly a new podcast coming soon. Please subscribe to them all, and if you're using Apple Podcasts, feel free to leave us a 5-star review if you feel we earned it, because it does help us with our exposure. We also appreciate anybody who wants to join in on the conversation, so you can interact with us on our Twitter or Instagram at Media Junkie Vids. If you want to comment on this podcast specifically, like, maybe leave something about how I got robbed last week, you can hit us up at FBFC Podcast. Any new followers we get, we will follow you and invite you to our Media Junkie Discord channel, and you can join our conversation there. My name is Jason. I have the pleasure of hosting the show. It's time to introduce you to the fanboys. Then we're going to enter the ring for the main event, and that's where the Fight Club part comes in. So, without further ado, we have the man who co-started Media Junkie and is the one and only Wes. What's going on, man? All right, cool.
I think he fell asleep after all that waiting.
I was muted. My apologies. The reason I was muted, I was trying to explain, is I'm a little under the weather this week. So if I'm coughing and sound like I'm snorting a huge fucking line of blow, it's because I'm sick. I'm not really doing coke.
Oh, that's not as fun. You should have just left the magic be alive, man.
Sorry you're not feeling good,
I mean, holy shit. I got like a fucking mound of cocaine here.
There we go.
Scarface style.
Wes will be dead by the end of this podcast.
His entire house.
All right. We also
Can't
have
be bitch of the week if you're dead.
We also have the host of the Rogue Agents podcast and Why Are You a Gamer? His name is Jamar. What's going on?
Not much, man. I'm excited to host and judge.
Cool, man. You're really quiet though, so you might want to turn your
Don't
microphone
mind him.
up
He's
or get a little
talking from the
closer.
bathroom. He's yelling.
Am I really quiet
It
now?
sounds low because he's in the bathroom.
Nope, still kind of low.
What? You guys didn't tell me this before the show? Jesus.
You
You were
were,
fine
you know?
before, and then you went to the
fine
bathroom
before.
and just apparently never came back.
All right, so while Jamar's trying to figure out his microphone issues, we also have our Fanboy Fight social media expert, Jake, finally joining us. What's going on, man?
What's up?
What's up? All right.
My
And
go-to.
It could have been worse. All right, so last but not least, one of the co-hosts of the Gimmick Minute Wrestling podcast and the guy behind all the graphics and the t-shirt designs for our channels, we have Michael. What's going on?
Oh, not a whole lot. Just got done burying you on the Gimmick Minute Wrestling podcast.
Yeah,
Can't
you
wait to do
totally
it again
did.
on this one.
And I thought about bringing that over, but I thought I'd separate the two and not be a dick to you. But then you had to go and bring it up. So fuck you, Mike.
Hey, man, kayfabe is alive. I live my gimmick every day.
Jason, I just want to thank you for keeping Mike last every week, no matter what. Even if he's not bitch of the week, he's always last. Or we have a guest host, always last. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's because
Yes,
he's
he will
saving the
always be the
best
last one.
for last.
False. If you ain't first, you're last.
All right, so moving on then. Anybody seen anything, watched anything, heard anything, something they want to talk about at all before we start with the main event?
Yeah, I watched like fucking 5 movies in the past few days. And me tell you,
Yeah.
Onward is so fucking good.
Oh,
Okay.
man, it'll make you just fucking bawl your eyes out like a little bitch in the movie theater.
I fucking bawled. Holy shit. Like I don't think there's a Pixar film that made me cry as much as that one did.
All right, good to know. I definitely.
What about Guns Akimbo? Well, no, we both watched that this week.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about fucking insane movies. Guns Akimbo is up there because
That
movie
is a straight-up
is
video game turned into a movie.
absolutely. It's a video game turned to a movie. I couldn't agree with you more.
All right. And little news, speaking of things that kind of made me weep or bawl, Last of Us is possibly getting made into an HBO TV show. That sounds like it's got some promise to it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. best horror game of all time.
It sounds like they're
Yeah.
doing it right because they have like the writer of the game be attached to write the actual series and like doing it the right way, which is awesome.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, as long as it's done the correct way, it's kind of weird with Last of Us being on HBO, considering there was a show called The Leftovers, which is somewhat similar, not quite the same thing. It's not a zombie thing, but it still kind of deals with like half the population being kind of taken out. But I guess it's different enough where it shouldn't, I guess
Just
it
hope
shouldn't
it's not
matter.
anything like Walking Dead because that show sucks.
It sucks so bad it ended the comics.
All right. So, anything else we want to talk about before we move on?
Hey, you guys never said, is my mic better?
Yeah, it is better.
Yeah,
I would
we
have said
it
something when you
came
started
back from the
talking.
potty.
Oh, okay. There we go.
All right, so good thing Jamaica. Oh, jeez.
Jamaica. Wow. He just
Jamaica.
gave us our celebrity relationship name.
So
Good thing
cute.
Jamar's microphone is better because, unfortunately, because I got robbed last week, I am the bitch of the week this week. So I have to pass off the microphone to Mike and Jamar, who will be taking it from here. So, gentlemen, it's all you.
All right, I guess I'm reading the main event. It's time for the main event. So for this week's main event, the fanboys are going to argue over what's the best animated movie ever. This should surely be easy. There's only one option. But anyways, of course, since Jason, like he mentioned earlier, he is the bitch of the week, and he did not get to choose his movie. So it should be very fun to see what he actually has. Also, if you're curious, how does this main event work? I'll explain it to you. It's simple. We have a starting opening round where they make the arguments, and then we go along to a attack round, which I aptly name Fuck Everyone Else. After that, we switch to another 30-second round because the attack round's 30 seconds as well. We switch around to the other one, which is Don't Come For Me, Bro. That's your chance to defend your topic. After that, you go all and sweet and tighten it up with a little bow, and you do your closing round. This one, you have no time limit, so be creative and be precise. That was my ad lib. Anyways, in between each round, we will judge the fanboys, me and Mike, giving them a score, and then adding up all the points at the end, we'll find out who will be the bitch of the week. Will it be Jason back to back, or will there be a new one? So, Mike, would you like to explain what the bitch of the week is?
Yeah, I suppose I will. So the bitch of the week is the Fanboy Fight Club punishment that is bestowed upon the loser of each episode. Since Jason is our bitch of the week, if he happens to lose this week, he will be our second bitch, or two-time bitch of the week at that point.
Who was the first?
Go fuck yourself, Jason. And if he loses tonight and then proceeds to lose again in 2 weeks, then he will be the first ever triple bitch of the week and get demoted down to judge until we deem him, ready to fight again.
That shit ain't
And
happening, by the way.
The way you become the bitch of the week, or when you are the bitch of the week, essentially you don't get to choose your topic. We get to choose it for you, and God help you if we don't like you that week. Like Jason.
Are you ready to get this thing started?
I'm ready if you are.
I'm sensing the bias from Gimmick Minute is going to carry over to Mike's.
Well, let's start our unbiased opening round. Up first, we have Jake. Make your case.
Oh, well, I didn't expect to be first, but I never do. All right, so let me set you guys a little bit. So you go to a movie in, any early. You go see the Pope First movie, which is not the movie I picked, by the way. But you go, and then with your ticket, you get a $2 off coupon. VHS that you just don't remember that movie ever being out in theaters. You're like, okay, not a big deal. You don't think about it. You're in Blockbuster a couple days later, trying to find a movie with your parents, walking around, and see the movie that you got the coupon for. You decide, hey, this looks kind of cool. You put in your VHS, and you are immediately enthralled. It is an amazing story, pretty boils down to, what if Superman was a gun? And if you couldn't tell by just that hint, I'm ashamed of you, but it's the Iron Giant, and you instantly fall in love with this movie. That's what happened to me in this movie. This movie is the best animated movie of all time. Combines different aspects of animation. It's hand drawn, and the Iron Giant himself is a very, very well done render for the period it was made. It's an amazing. It has Bird, who was little time, but he's gone on to do other movies, such as Ratatouille, The Incredibles, and he even directed Mission Impossible. I believe it was Ghost Protocol. So it's kind of cool to see that movie now and see the beginnings of all of that kind of legacy being made. A movie that's always special in my wife has a tattoo of the Iron Giant, and anybody that sees it instantly agrees, and they're like, man, I love that movie. That movie was so good. And while the box office might have been disappointing, it gained such a cult following that I think it's not even considered a movie anymore. It's just a good movie that almost everybody who has watched it enjoys. So that's why the Iron Giant is my vote this week.
Okay, predictable. I actually did not know what you were going with because I didn't get the message, but I guess that makes sense. It makes total sense now.
I assumed he said it to both of us, or I would have told you.
No, it's fine. I was surprised too. All right, so up next we have Wes. You ready?
So, when I think of the best animated film of all time, I like to think of a film that hits every single bucket that's necessary to be the best. We not only need a film that has a great story, impeccable animation, heart, humor, but also a film that pushes the medium to new levels. While thinking of a film to select for this topic, I had trouble finding one that would meet all requirements that I specifically wanted. After some thinking, I found it. The film that I believe is the best animated film of all time, and it's a newer film, and that is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Sure, there are great nostalgic films that we fondly remember, and there may even be our own personal favorites, such as Iron Giant. That was actually in my script because it's a great film. No denying that. Snow White, another one, for example, started the animated motion pictures in 1937. It's considered one of the best animated films of all time. In this case, I wouldn't say it's the best. Each year, the animation industry would become better and better, increasing not only their talents, but the animators would increase their knowledge of how to animate a film. History takes us to November 22nd, 1995, when Toy Story, the first computer animated film, was released in theaters. The medium has been following the same trends of becoming better and looking more fluid as the years went on. So let's fast forward to December 14th, 2018. Sony Pictures Animation unleashes their juggernaut, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, in the theaters. This is the first film in 23 years to truly take computer animation and do something different with it. The film has remarkable style and was groundbreaking. And it's an animation style that's never been seen before. This was painstakingly created utilizing 177 animators. To put how hard this film was to animate, let me say it takes a week to animate about 4 seconds of animation. Into the Spider-Verse took 1 week to animate 1 second of footage. To get the feel of Miles becoming Spider-Man, they use an interesting animation technique. Animated films normally run at 24 frames per second with a different image for each frame. To have the film feel as if Miles is becoming better with his powers, they held onto frames for 2 seconds. When Miles and Peter are swinging in the forest, this is why Miles looks clunky when trying to web swing, while Peter looks more fluid. The characters themselves and the sets look incredible. The film is presented to look like a comic book. To create the comic book feel, the animators utilized half toning to create the dots of color, and for shadows, they utilized crisscrossed lines and hatching. Utilizing these methods made the film feel like a comic book in motion. The scene where Miles is wearing his trademark suit and he jumps off the building is one of the most beautiful pieces of animation I've ever seen. To the skyscrapers, the astounding lighting, and even the angles the animators used really show this film has the best animation we have seen yet. The animation isn't the only great part about the film, though. Earlier, I mentioned the best animated film of all time. We need humor and heart. This film has both. When Peter Parker dies towards the beginning of the film, you feel that. You feel the emotion of all the characters grieving his death. Or at the end of the film when Miles couldn't let Peter Parker die a second time and send him back to his universe. Throughout the entire film, there's constant beats of humor. For example, when Miles is trying to take his first leap of faith and realize the building is too high, the music cuts out and it shows him walking back down the steps, and that makes me laugh every damn time. There are honestly too many comedic beats or moments in this film to list. And I can't not mention Spider-Ham and Spider-Man Noir. Both characters brought numerous hilarious lines to the film. With Spider-Ham and Noir mentioned, let's switch into the voice acting. Into the Spider-Verse has, I feel, one of the best voice casts in any animated film. Every character was voiced by someone perfect for the role. I feel there are 4 real standouts in the film. They are Jake Johnson as Peter Parker, Shamik Moore as Miles Morales, Nicolas Cage as Spider-Man Noir, and of course, John Mulaney with Spider-Ham. Every actor in the film felt like they were born for their respected roles. A great little touch of the film is the first Spider-Man in Miles' universe is voiced by Chris Pine, while the second one in the film from the other universe is voiced by Jake Johnson. Attention to detail in this film is impeccable, and that right there will show it. The last thing I wanted to mention is the soundtrack. The soundtrack to the film really made the film come to life. With the tracks selected and created for the film, it made New York itself feel like a living, breathing character. It made the animation pop and perfectly suited the urban life, or urban look and feel of the film. The original score, composed by Daniel Pemberton, is expertly crafted to be a perfect companion to the visuals. I can't fail to mention the song Sunflower. That song is the epitome of an earworm. Also, the song Home by Vince Staples is amazing, and I still listen to it to this day. It's a song that kicked off the very first teaser trailer ever released for this film. It helps sell the mood for the film. Even if you're not a fan of this type of music, there's no denying that it fits and works perfectly for this film. Like I stated in the beginning, I wouldn't choose any animated film to be labeled as the best animated film of all time. That film needs to push the medium to new levels and really give us a story that can be watched repeatedly. And I feel Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is that film.
Bravo. I just have to add, because I'm not arguing, Coco's the best animated film of all time. I'm gonna let you finish. No, that was my Kanye West moment.
That was up there. It was up there.
Coco's amazing. But yeah.
Remember me. Good shit. All right, Jason, you're bringing it up, man. You ready?
All right. Let's be honest. None of us really like being bitch of the week. I was dreading getting the text with my animated film this week, and my worst fears were realized. I get a message from Mike saying that my animated film is Frozen. Now, I have 2 small young daughters. Well, I guess they're not small anymore, but I have 2 young daughters, so I instantly had PTSD. All the songs flooded into my head. Hey, yeah, let it go. And, of course, that fucking Olaf Summer song that tortured me for so long. It hit me like a snowball straight to the face that had just a little bit of ice mixed in. But then I started to think about it. Honestly, I couldn't have picked a better movie myself. Frozen 2 just became the highest-grossing animated movie of all time. What did it beat out? You guessed it, Frozen. The original Frozen movie that came out in 2013 was so beloved and so popular that the sequel broke its own record. In 2014, a report was done to gauge the most popular Disney princesses of all time. Elsa was number 1 on the list, and Anna was number 5. In the first year after her creation, Elsa sold more products than Snow White, who had been around since 1937, as Wes just pointed out, and Cinderella, who came along in 1950. Why is it so popular? Frozen bucks the trend of the stereotypical Disney movies. These women don't need a man to solve problems for them. They can count on their love as sisters to conquer anything that they face. And finally, let's be honest, PTSD aside, it was a great movie. The story was compelling, the soundtrack fit perfectly into the script, Olaf was hilarious, and the cast did an amazing job. When you put it all together, Frozen has a great story, great cast, great soundtrack. Couple that with the fact that not only is Elsa the most popular Disney princess ever, and Frozen 2 being the highest-grossing animated, one of the Frozen and Frozen, the 2 Frozen movies being the highest-grossing animated films of all time, there's no argument that Frozen is the best animated movie ever.
Alrighty then.
All right, yeah. This round, I really wish I could do like we used to do, where we would like kind of give our 2 cents on it. But again, that's not the way it's supposed to be done. So, do you have your order?
Yeah, I have my order if you need a minute.
Oh, go ahead. I'm
Um,
just typing it in.
So my order, Jason fucking brought the fire this week, man. Like he started off like, oh, I hate this movie. It fucking tortured me, and by the end of it, he fucking sold me. He's like, this is the best fucking movie ever. So he's getting my 2 points, and Wes, you're gonna get my second place, and that puts Jake in last. And not because of your pick, Jake. I love Iron Giant. It's just Wes sold it a little better.
All right. Well, I'm gonna piggyback off. Well, not piggyback. I guess I'm the only other judge. So, all right. I'm just gonna tell you what I think. So I have it a little bit different, very close still, but I'm gonna go with Wes, Jason, and then Jake as well. Obviously, process elimination. So. Alrighty. So we're moving on to the fuck everyone else round. This is basically your opportunity to shit on everybody's choices or appointed choice. Up first, we have Wes. We're going to have 30 seconds on the clock. Let me know when you're ready.
Uh-oh, we lost somebody.
I think he might be going, but he's muted. Or
somehow I popped into a different audio channel, and I didn't even click on Discord. I was in my notes.
Spoilers, Wes is actually the secret guest host of Gimmick Minute this week.
What the fuck? Okay, I'm ready.
Alrighty, well then I'll put 30 seconds on the clock and go.
This is tough because Iron Giant is great, but it doesn't hold a candle to Spider-Verse. So Iron Giant didn't revolutionize the industry, push the medium forward instead, and unfortunately just flopped. Luckily, it became a cult classic later on. Also, fuck Vin Diesel. Frozen is another film that I enjoy. The problem with the film is I feel the repeatability is not there. Most people listen to the soundtrack over and 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 not rewatch the movie. And also, you mentioned Frozen 2 multiple times. That's one of the worst sequels I've ever seen. Don't ever mention that movie again.
Time by a few seconds.
All right then.
And we have Jason. You ready to fuck everyone?
Yeah, 1 second.
Is that how long it's gonna take?
He's
gotta
got to
lube
get his
up.
protection on.
All right,
Or get it hard.
no, I just had to write a thought down on something Wes just said, so that's all good.
All right. Game time change. You ready?
Yep.
Row.
Jake, what you were saying, but anyway, you spent like a whole lot more time talking about the best movies that director had made that were actually popular, other than what you spent on Iron Giant. And I'm sorry, but no disrespect to your wife, but her having a tattoo does not make that the greatest animated movie of all time. Wes, speaking of which, you gave us a great history on visuals in the animated universe, but you didn't spend a whole lot of time talking about the story of the movie. That's a lot more than just visuals to make up a movie.
Gotta stop. All right. We're gonna take a second off of Jason's next round.
I finished before you said gotta stop.
Right.
So we got to take a second off of Jamar's next round.
Works for me. That's fine. All right. Jake, you ready?
Yep.
All right. Oh, wait. Actually, let me reset the timer. Now you can go.
Well, I'm glad you both picked movies that have come out recently, because I can already tell neither one of those will have the staying power of the Iron Giant. Yeah, I feel like they're good movies. We'll just not forgotten, but we'll go kind of in the same direction as, like, talked about as much more. Whereas Into the Spider-Verse, I can't really shit on the movie itself, other than kind of a whole lot of content very quickly. But in of staying power, I don't see it being the most popular in a couple years, or even really talking.
Gotta stop. You got an extra few seconds because I couldn't unmute my mic. I was like pressing the button.
So Jamar's now at -3 seconds. I'm getting on track.
Stupid key binds. All right. How you got it scored?
You go first. I'm still deciding.
All right. Well, I didn't technically type my in. We're so prepared as hosts. This is awesome.
I feel like this is more just saying how great they are, because we're having a hard time deciding.
Yeah, this one was actually much closer. You don't have anything, Mike? Come on, man.
Okay.
All right,
so
no,
I figured mine
I will
out.
say-
Okay, I'll give you an extra couple seconds. I figured mine out.
Okay, go ahead.
So for me this time around, Jason stole first place again, so he's gonna get my 2 points, and then Jake rebounded from last round and got my second place.
All right, so I have mine scored. I did already had Jason written in. That's what I was flipping between the two. But well, for reasons, I'm gonna go West Jake. So Jason, West Jake. Are you keeping score?
I am.
Okay,
I
cool.
assumed you were too, but I was just in case.
Good job, man. Good job. We'll never judge together again. All right.
We have our celebrity relationship name. We have to.
So we're gonna go ahead and just close this out here with your last closing arguments. This is an opportunity to make up for some ground.
no.
Oh wait.
We're at the defend round, buddy.
Oh wait, did I skip? Oh shit! I just told a Jason.
Skipped it. Yeah. You're trying to do the wrong round.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Sorry. We're gonna do the defend round. Now this is a chance to say "Don't come for me" and defend your point. Jason, you're first. 30 seconds.
All right, ready?
Yep.
All
Go.
right. All right, so Jake, first of all, you said that it's not going to have the staying power. Well, Frozen came out 6 years ago, and the second one was so anticipated that it still outsold it. Elsa is a character that's going to last and last for years to come. Girls will grow up on her. Wes, you said that I mentioned Frozen 2 way too much. I mentioned Frozen 2 way too much. I only mentioned it to illustrate the fact that it broke its previous record. That's all. They're the two highest grossing animated films of all time.
I'm assuming he's done.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
done. That's all you have to
Finished
say.
early, even though I distracted you. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
Jamar wanted to give you an extra couple seconds because he laughed. You saying you're gonna grow up on Elsa.
I don't know. I'm immature. Okay, up next
Okay,
week.
I was muted was the only reason I didn't fucking.
All right, up next we got Jake. You ready, man?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, defend their arguments.
All right. So, Jason, I mentioned wife's tattoo because it's the reaction that people have to it. If you get a fucking Frozen tattoo, in 20 years, people aren't going to react the way that they react to an Iron Giant tattoo. And as of Wes, I knew you'd bring up Fox Off. This is about best animated movie, not which one made the most fucking money. And the Iron Giant is better than the Spider-Verse when it comes down to everything you mentioned, including heart, humor, and just the overall story. Done.
Got it. There we go. Good clap back on that. All right, Wes, let's close it out.
I'm ready.
Ready?
Yep. Hey, Jake. Okay, Jake, thanks for not shitting on my movie. It just kind of shows that it's a great film. It deserves to be the best animated film of all time. So you don't really have to give me much to go off of. This film will have the staying power. You mentioned how it wouldn't have it because it changed the industry. Now, it's also a great film. Jason said I didn't spend a whole lot of time talking about the story. I mentioned the characters. I mentioned the setting. I discussed the humor in the story. And I also discussed the heart. I talked about this film clearly enough. I wanted to discuss why the film's the best animated film of all time. And I didn't feel the need to break down the entire plot, as I would have felt that would have been unnecessary to go from the beginning of the story to the end of the story when it made sense.
Alrighty, since Jamar apparently is
I'll say, you guys still there?
No,
as the timekeeper, I guess I'll be like,
You
damn.
gotta get
right
faster
then.
on that mute, man.
I changed my keybind and I keep hitting the other button that it used to be. But what I was gonna say is, damn, Wes is like timing himself over there because it was like literally at 30 seconds, even though I couldn't stop.
Instead, you said absolutely nothing for 30 seconds.
All right. Well, I do have something to say. I have my score. Are
I'm
you
glad
ready?
because I don't.
Well, good job. Maybe you should be like me. All right. So up first, I have. Well, I'll just say it the whole way. I have Jake, Wes, Jason. Reasons.
Reasons. I like it. All right. Shit. This one was hard for me. I have it a little bit different. I have it as Wes, Jake, Jason.
All right. Now we can move on to the closing arguments. As I said once before earlier in the show that it didn't happen, so screw you guys. All right. So this is your opportunity to close out with a nice, sweet argument. We had some controversy over the last few rounds, so make sure you're on your P's and Q's. You ready? Jake, you're first.
Oh man, you go. Went first round.
Mike,
That's how it works.
made it.
It works every podcast. It's always the person who goes first at the beginning of the show is always the one who goes first in the last round.
Jake, if you want, I'll go first.
Sorry, I should have sounded sarcastic. I did it for the speak thing. Anyway, launching into closing arguments for why The Giant is the best animated movie of all. There are very few movies which TV networks can get away with playing 24 hours straight. Just not even anime movies, just movies in general. I can only think of the top of my head, in fact. One is during Christmas. It's A Christmas Story. You can find it on AMC or whatever channel plays it. It plays the whole 24 hours of it. You know what other movie I really think of that had that happen multiple in a row is The Iron Giant. Cartoon Network would play The Iron Giant for 24 hours straight, starting in 2000 on July 4th and Thanksgiving Day. I mean, that's so that, if you ask me, it's even an even movie than a story. But let's get down to the story in the heart of this movie. You have a young boy who dreams of outer space and all this kind of stuff, and he's just kind of normal everyday kid. And he finds a giant fucking robot in the woods, and he teaches it not to be a killing. Granted, it, impaired and had tone in its head and everything like that. To connect those two have, and that heartbreaking last scene of Iron sacrificing himself to save the entire town. I mean, I give the either two picks that will tug at the heartstrings quite like that one does. Also, I mean, they screwed up the marketing very badly on the initial release of this movie, and that's why it flopped. And you had Warner Brothers actually admit that they fucked up. I mean, that's huge. Like, for a movie company, they say it was actually their fault and they didn't advertise it, and that's why there's the VHS. And I think that helped it gain the cult status that it has, is the movie or the studio recognizing the problems that they had before the movie came out in theaters and fixing it, which doesn't happen often. Then you also have all of the things that have, come from this movie. Like Wes said, it's not really, it didn't change the industry, but it did, because it was one of the first movies to have a fully CG character in with the animation. I think a lot of movies wouldn't exist without that kind of thing happening. Hell, I don't think you would get, to the level of where Into the Spider-Verse is animation-wise without this process. So when it comes down to it, I had a really hard time picking the best animated movie, but when I finally landed on The Iron Giant, I knew it was the solid choice, and it is the best animated movie.
All right, man. That was a pretty impressive, even over like the a little bit of audio issues you could closing out. So good job, man. Good job.
Yeah.
Up next, we have Wes. You're up.
So there's a reason Into the Spider-Verse won not only the Golden Globe and the Critics' Choice Award, but also the Oscar for the Best Animated Film of 2018. It was a groundbreaking film that pushed the medium forward, like I stated. Disney and Pixar won the Best Animated Film every year since 2012, and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse disrupted that trend. That was even with it going against the long-anticipated sequel, The Incredibles 2, which everybody thought would actually win the Oscar for the year, and Spider-Man upset that. Into the Spider-Verse was the first Best Animated Film Oscar that Sony has won. I talked about the animation a lot earlier. Into the Spider-Verse expertly utilizes different techniques to animate all the different Spider characters. For example, Robot Spidey utilized manga, Spider-Ham utilized an animated cartoon look, and Spider-Man Noir looked like he was ripped out of a black and white noir comic book. These are three different styles playing out in the same computer animated film, truly made these characters stand out and feel as if they were from different universes. And I'm not alone with my love for this film. There's a reason the film has a 97% Rotten Tomatoes score with a 93% audience score. Multiple respected websites have officially listed Into the Spider-Verse on their list of the best films, one of the best films of the decade. And it cracked a lot of top 10s, which is phenomenal. And it's actually voted the best superhero film of the decade too, beating every other superhero film out, which is awesome. Sony Animation went for something different with this film, and it really shows. I can't fail to mention that the film had one of, if not the best after credit scenes, with the hilarious 1967 Spider-Man pointing scene. Luckily, we're going to have an animated sequel or another sequel coming out in 2022 with the animators teasing Spider-Man 2099 at the end, and I, for one, cannot wait.
Are you done?
Thank you.
Yeah, no, that was really good. Jason, you have some big shoes to fill, man.
Yeah, man, Jason, you've got to work real hard to not be bitch of the week again.
Oh, I think he just quit.
Jason's like, you can't make me the bitch of the week if I'm not here.
Oh fuck, I was muted. My bad. I didn't know. I was... Sorry. Yeah, I'm ready. I got this. Ready?
All right.
All right, my fellow contestants, judges, this has been an epic battle to determine the best animated film of all time. It's fair to say that you can look no further than Frozen. Looking back at all the evidence, you'll see that Frozen checks all the boxes. Has a great cast, great story, critically acclaimed soundtrack. It's a movie that stands the test of time. It's number one. It's number one in the box office because it was that damn good. What's impressive is that Frozen 2 was a larger box office smash, and it came out 6 years later. It's not as if Disney rushed out a sequel for a cash grab. Elsa stands the test of time because she is the queen that generations of little girls will try to grow up and be like, a strong, independent woman who doesn't need a man to make her feel whole. I understand that some of you may have a personal bias. Some of you may have a preconceived notion of what constitutes the best animated movie of all time. I invite you to let it go, let it go. Don't hold your true feelings back anymore. Just admit it that Frozen is a great movie and move on. Here I sit and here I say, Frozen is the best animated movie of all time. Being the bitch of the week never bothered me anyway.
Oh man, you got an entire fucking verse.
Oh my god.
Shit.
This is not fair.
I thought I had a winner chosen, but that shook the
not
the
fair.
battleground. Oh man. Fuck. That was a solid ending.
All right, so I'm gonna stay consistent. Well, fuck. First, we might have to put a little thing in there just saying like, hey, this is a spoiler-heavy episode, to all 5 of our fans. Just because we just literally gave away the plot for like 2 big movies.
I mean, technically though, those 5 fans probably all saw the movie with us because they're just our cinema others.
Very true. Very, very true. All right, my stalling is, I think, complete now. Oh my god. All right, so... all right. Wes, Jason, Jake.
All right, so... oh man.
That's tough.
That was tough, yeah. I guess at this point, like I have my winner chosen, so I guess second place doesn't really matter.
What do you mean winner chosen?
Well, like for my 2 points.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Nope. Since you're not keeping track, I'm just deciding everything on the fly. So that round, it was for me. It was Jake, Jason, Wes.
What?
Jason,
Okay.
It's because substance means more than style.
Okay. Yeah. Whatever.
I mean,
it didn't really affect the scores. So no matter who would have been my second place, it wouldn't have mattered.
Well, since you're keeping score, you mind telling us who?
So I guess we'll start with the overall winner, and it's actually a tie for first place. Shocking enough, considering it was a tie for most of the rounds. Jason and Wes, both with 9 points. Meaning that despite his love for a giant Iron Man, Jake is the new bitch of the week with 6 points.
That's because Jamar got caught up in the stupid fucking style and doesn't actually understand that. Jason didn't literally said nothing in those verses that he recreated, so it's okay.
Oh man, the salt is real.
It really is. It hurts me because me and Mike were discussing in between rounds.
Oh yeah, we've been messaging back and forth this entire time, like talking about, oh shit, did you hear that? Oh damn.
And I legit said, like, this is going to be hard. Like, I was like, Jake is, like, crushing it. But it's just everybody brought their, like, A game for it, like, for real. And, I mean, I just have to give, like, creativity.
Oh, Jason just talked about how Frozen made money. Like,
No, it didn't.
being popular doesn't mean it's the best. Like,
Okay.
I don't want to sound like a
well,
hipster,
the
but
parts about
that's some
Elsa being
stupid
a
shit right
role
there.
model
Yeah, you
for
can't-
young girls,
you can't
that
say
has
that.
no substance, right? I didn't say anything like that.
You can't. You're only taking just the indie, which was just a great way to end it. But he did have substance in it as well.
Oh, even in the other rounds, it's the #1 rated box office, and the only one that ever beat it was the sequel. Like,
I was
we all agree
defending
that the
what
sequel
you guys
sucks,
said.
and yet
Well,
it made more money.
The sequel wasn't
Hey.
great. It just made money, but that
Jason
was
lost
fresh.
my defend round. I don't think he had a really great defense.
Yeah,
but
Jason's defender round was
his
real so far.
attack was on fire, and I mean, you
yeah.
can't argue with that.
His
That was
attack,
the
he
first thing
spent
we said
5
when he
seconds
attacked.
saying that I had audio problems. Like, that's not even an attack.
This is
I mean,
a
it
fight
is
club,
because
man.
no
you
control over
had
it.
audio problems. So I mean, he attacked.
Yeah,
you.
but I have no control over that. I have no
No matter
control
what,
that you
it's
made
a
the
hard-
voice server East Coast. Like, I have no control over that.
I
What?
mean, I'm over on the same side of the fucking country as you, and I haven't had issues.
That's
Glad
I
I,
mean,
I
You
didn't
cut
judge,
out
to
too.
be honest with
You
you.
cut out too, Mike. You cut out pretty frequently on my end. So
Well, I'm sure it's just your connection because you're probably.
All right, so let's go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you guys for listening to this week's episode of Fight Club Podcast. The first rule of the Fanboy Fight Club Podcast is you must talk about the Fanboy Fight Club podcast. Easy for me to say. We are Media Junkies' flagship, but we do have so much more. The 5 of us do have other shows, like Mike and I on the Gimmick Minute Wrestling Podcast, or you could catch Jamar and Wes on Rogue Agents and Jamar's new show, Why Are You a Gamer? And Jake does possibly have something coming up here pretty soon. And also don't sleep on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/MediaJunkie. And you can also interact with Jake and tell him if he got robbed or not on the Fanboy Fight Club Facebook page or our Twitter account at FBFC Podcast. Mike, you got some t-shirts. You want to plug them?
Yeah, since you wouldn't let me do it on the last podcast because you're a chode, go to tpublic.com and look up Gimmick Minute, Fanboy Fight Club, Media Junkie, Modern Toy Fair, Why Are You a Gamer? You'll see all of our different shirt designs. If you click Volatile Personality Comics right below the design, it'll take you to my store and show you all the other stuff that's even better. I'm pretty sure there's a sale coming up there where there'll be $13 tees again here at the end of the month, so make sure to go give me your money.
All right. And don't forget to follow Media Junkie on our Twitter and Instagram at Media Junkie Vids to get all the information from all that. And make sure you're subscribing to the podcast on either Apple, Spotify, Google, and all the other podcast platforms out there. So I'm going to end this with a couple of different questions. Will Jamar ever come off of mute? Will Michael be kicked out of the Gimmick Minute Wrestling podcast? Will Wes be hired to give a dissertation on animated films at his local community college? And will Jake turn full Iron Giant robot in the next episode? Stay tuned to find out the answers to all these questions and more on the next episode of the Gimmick, my bad, wrong podcast, the Fanboy Fight Club Podcast.
Oh,
The shittiest closeout I've ever heard.